Here with Nick Eatman, who, of course, covers the Dallas Cowboys, has done so for the last couple decades, and I have to imagine Nick having a good time right now. The Cowboys 5-1, tops in an otherwise lousy NFC East, but the fourth best record in the NFL, thanks to this 5-game winning streak right before the bye week. So was that a good time for a rest, or would it have been nice to ride the momentum a bit?
Did you see Dak's calf or him limp off the field?
I was going to get to that. I had a sense of what direction you were going to take that answer.
Perfect time for the bye. And if without that, I think you question it. You say, man, this thing is kind of rolling right now. But the fact that he suffered that injury, and it wasn't a major calf injury, and believe me, you can have major ones, but he did not. And I think that the fact that he has a good chance to play in this game coming up is a sign that it was a perfect week for the bye, because a lot of guys, were able to rest up a little bit, and they're going to start getting some of these other players back as well. But first and foremost, with Dak's injury the way it was, I'm not sure he would have played last week. So, it was a perfect time for a bye.
Again, Nick, with this team at 5-1, is head coach Mike McCarthy getting enough credit for this hot start, considering there were so many people calling for his head in year one last year?
No, he's not getting enough credit. He probably won't. I mean, that's just the way I guess it's going. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. I just, I think Dane Quinn has come in, and it's like, it's probably a lot about Dan Quinn with the defense, and rightfully so. And then Kellen Moore, is calling the plays. And so, when you don't call the plays one way or another, then it takes a little bit of time to be considered a really, really good coach and get all that praise. You have to do it for a long, long time. And so, no, he's not getting enough credit, but I think that he's built a pretty good culture here and established that in the last couple of seasons. And so far it's working.
You mentioned Dak Prescott. Let's get back to him. As we know, he runs the NFL's top offense. Of course, strained that right calf in New England. The injury happened on the final play of overtime. So as you said, good time for the bye in that sense. He had the walking boot to the news conference. So obviously he benefited from the time off. How's he feeling going into the showdown with the Vikings this weekend? Any skepticism as to whether he'll play?
I think that he's going to play. I do. I don't think he'll be 100% where he'll be able to just take off and run. I think anybody watching this game would be able to say he's dealing with something, which that's fine. I mean, he can still function and still be the quarterback, and he may not take off and run as much. He may not do as many quarterback sneaks, but after you saw what happened in New England, maybe he shouldn't. But I just think that he'll be limited in some way. I still think he'll be good enough to function, run the offense, and be effective.
Dak was great in Foxborough. Cowboys' first win there since 1987. He had 445 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 149 of those yards, 2 scores went to CeeDee Lamb. It felt like even more, too, for those watching the game. Yeah. Is Lamb taking his game to another level with that career contest, or was that, more isolated?
Well, I mean, we were all wondering what Bill Belichick was going to take away, and it was really clear. He tried to take away some of the run. He tried to take away Amari Cooper, and that's what happens. That's what this offense is designed to do. Is with you take away somebody, then they've got other options, and that's what happened. It was really clear though that Amari Cooper was getting doubled, he was getting tripled at a couple of plays, just bracketed over the top. And they pretty dared CeeDee Lamb and Dak to beat them, and that's what happened. And so that's what this offense is about. You'll see games where now you got to stop CeeDee Lamb, and Amari Cooper could do all that. So it was a big time performance from CeeDee. I'm with you. In the third quarter, I was like, how many yards does he have? And it was like 82, and I was like, wow, I thought it would be way more than that. He had some productive plays, none bigger than the overtime touchdown.
When there's that much offense, half dozen guys who were impactful, almost 600 total yards, is there anything you can really take away from that going forward, or was it just kind of one of those games where everything went right?
Well, I don't think everything did go right. They they were in that game in the second half, fourth quarter, and I don't think they should have been. I don't think it should have been much of a game. And that, no disrespect to the Patriots, but they're not there yet. They're in a rebuilding year. Of course, they had a big win last week against the Jets, but
they're the Jets.
And Mac Jones impressed me big time the way he played. Really, the way he got up from that sack from Randy Gregory. But I thought the Cowboys did some things, fumbling the ball. I mean, 2 turnovers inside the red zone there. That game probably shouldn't have been as close as it was, but give the Patriots credit for keeping it that way. So I think as great as it looked from the Cowboys offensively, they actually had some miscues that kept that game closer than it should have been. That's my take on that.
Next game is Halloween night in prime time in Minnesota against a Vikings group that has won 2 in a row. First off, I feel for you because, I mean, you have young kids. It'd be nice to be home and trick-or-treating, so that kind of stinks being on the road. But that being said, if you got to be there, may as well watch Dallas try and go for 6 in a row. What's the outlook?
Yeah, loud. It'll be loud and you won't be able to hear. It'll be raucous because the Vikings, that's what they are, and the Cowboys have won last year in Minnesota, and it was very quiet. It was kind of eerie how quiet that game was, just because of COVID. And but they were able to win that game. Minnesota is always a tough place to play, and I think that as great as Trayvon Diggs has played, and the secondary getting turnovers, this could be one of their toughest tests, at least since week 1 against Tampa Bay and those receivers, because of what Kirk Cousins is doing right now. He's not turning the ball over that much. And, of course, he's got those 2 great weapons at wide receiver, and then Dalvin Cook as well. So it'll be the best offense that they faced, and a complete offense that they faced since week 1.
You outlined what the Cowboys' defense will be challenged by, but how about for the offense for Dallas? Is there anyone in particular that you have your eye on as a fantasy stud this weekend?
I don't know about a fantasy stud, but I think Dalton Schultz is just a constant play all the time, because like we just talked about, pick your poison. You're not going to pick him. Okay, and nobody's going to come into the game and say we're taking out Dalton Schultz. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But what's working with this team is that Dak is not afraid to give it to whoever's open, and it doesn't matter who. And if that means a bad game for Amari Cooper, sorry, fantasy owners. Sorry if it's a slow game for Zeke or whatever. He's going to do the right smart play, and 9 times out of 10, Dalton Schultz is going to be open. He's there. He's going to make plays, and he's making plays around the goal line. So I don't know if he's a fantasy stud, but he's a constant guy that you need to put in there. I can't imagine a lot of tight end options that are much better than this.
In the spirit of the holiday, anybody going as Trayvon Diggs for Halloween around there? I mean, he's been a weekly nightmare for opposing quarterbacks.
That would be a nice pick.
Nice.
Yeah, to do that. But and I got 6 more if you want, because he's got the 7.
Yes, please.
No, I don't. No one's really going as Trayvon Diggs. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen a lot of costumes just yet. We're still kind of getting there. We're kind of ramping up to Halloween, and if you could guess, Halloween doesn't really make my top 10 of holidays.
I'm not sure I could name 10 holidays before Halloween.
Yeah, it's there with Groundhog's Day for me.
Okay.
Just right there. But like you said, I have kids, and it's a big deal to them. So I don't want to be I don't want to be the Scrooge version of Halloween, but I sort of am.
So as we know, I mean, longtime Cowboys coach Tom Landry, he's among those who shares the record with Diggs of 6 straight games with at least 1 interception to start a season. Have you had the opportunity to chat with Trayvon, just to not ask him necessarily about what this run has been like, but almost more do you go into a game pressured by the streak now? Like, do you, I mean, is it on your mind during a game, like, I need to intercept the ball to keep this going?
Well, yeah, he's got somebody in his ear every single game that he's got to impress, and that's his son Aiden. And if you saw any of the Hard Knocks, he became a star. Obviously, he's 4 years old, and he's the cutest kid ever. But he basically has told him, Dad, I want you to get another one. I want you to get a touchdown this week. Can you get 2 interceptions? So I don't think you can, and any 4-year-old, you're never going to please on the 100%. So I think he's got that going for him. But no, I did talk to him after the New England game. I got a chance to interview him, and he was saying how he's done a little homework on this. He's here every week. It's 50 years since this, or 40 years. I mean, he's had to learn names like Everson Walls and Night Train Lane. I mean, he's on a pace that's just we haven't seen before. And so I think even though he's a confident player, and I've never met a good cornerback that wasn't, but I think he's even understanding the magnitude of this whole thing and how it's rare. It's rare. And I try to tell that to the non-casual friends or family about this is not normal at all. There's nothing normal about 7 interceptions in the first 6 games. I mean, since I've been covering the team, you always say 2 decades, I've never seen anybody get 7 interceptions in a whole season, much less before the bye week. And it's remarkable. And I think he's even understanding how remarkable it is.
He's going to try and challenge his brother for catches in a year. That's the direction that he's going. Keep it up. Stephon tied him with touchdowns, and 2. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, Tony Pollard's having a great season for the Cowboys. He's got 1 touchdown. Yeah. Diggs already with 2, and the interception he made against the Patriots, I think was his best one yet. Go ahead. Just because he was catching it, bobbling it, and hurdling a guy all at the same time. Mm-hmm. Of course, it lasted 15 seconds before he gave up a touchdown. Right. Which I asked him after the game, I'm like, when did you stop going for the ball? Because if you would have gone for the ball there, you get you probably pick off that interception. And if he would have intercepted that ball after the touchdown, I mean, I said it before, we're not talking like ESPN interviews. We're talking like Good Morning America. Like what is going on with this guy? He plays the whole game. He's having an okay game. And then all of a sudden, fourth quarter, they're down. Oh, pick 6, touchdown. And then if he would have got another pick, it would have been incredible. Oh, it would have been unbelievable. So before I let you go here, NFL trade deadline is rapidly approaching. We'll have the chance to chat again before it gets here. But I've seen it suggested that Dallas maybe move a Michael Gallup, for instance, since there's so much talent on the offense. He hasn't been part of this season's success, at least so far. Obviously, he's been out. Cowboys do need, despite all the talk about Trayvon, they do need some help defensively. Do you see a move being made?
I'll say no, I don't see it, but I didn't see Amari Cooper getting traded for to the Cowboys either 3 years ago. Sometimes they happen. I mean, sometimes they don't. I mean, I know that's not a great answer for you, but I'll lean towards no, because I think the Cowboys feel like they're not only 5-1, but they've got 5 or 6 players coming back to this team. 2 defensive ends at some point, including DeMarcus Lawrence, Michael Gallup, Neville Gallimore, Tristan Hill, Kelvin Joseph. The tricky part is going to be figuring out roster spots to get those guys on there. So they feel like they're getting help on top of their 5-1. Never say never on a trade or some other position that works out, but I bet you they're close to standing pat, knowing that they're getting more help on the way.